Rise and shine, Rwanda. It's Monday the 15th of December.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda. We learn the value of sharing at an inspirational forum for young professionals.
A holiday camp lays the foundation for our future basketball stars.
And we need some help tips to get you through the week. Motivation Monday has you covered. Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahadio.
And me, Regis Isheja. Over the next hour, we'll bring you all the latest news, sports and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here in the studio. It's Monday, guys, so the money, what do you have for us? Get us motivated here.
Well, let's just say making calls in East Africa is going to be like the best thing for you right now. It's going to be so cheap, you're going to call every day. I have the details for you today.
Uh-oh, I like that. All right. Arnold, sports, what happened over the weekend?
Liverpool lost, terrible, but then you have basketball yourself, so we'll talk a little bit basketball. And the big one is finally here, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Everybody has been waiting for that lifestyle. Alan.
Yes, it's Motivation Mondays, and as you saw, our very own Fidelis is showing us how to get in shape, and it's hilarious. I can't even wait myself to check it out.
Sweet. All that and more still to come, but first, Rise and Shine Story of the Day. With the new year on the verge, young people are starting to think about the next step in their lives and careers, and about growth, especially young people in transition. Yesterday, Imbuto Foundation held an event geared towards guiding these decisions and sharing ideas. I decided to attend. Check it out. Some 500 young professionals aged 25 to 40 were invited to Serena Hotel for the Imbuto Foundation Forum under the theme, Beyond This Moment. The event was commenced by the Minister of Youth and ICT and the Chairman of Imbuto, First Lady Janet Kagame. She opened the event with some inspirational words for all in attendance.
We know sometimes the youth feel like we push them too hard and challenge them too much. But we have so much hope in you. We see your potential to grow, we see your dynamism and willingness to learn. All the saying goes, the hardest battles are given to the strongest soldiers. So with these few remarks, it's my wish that this forum will turn you all into Rwanda's warriors of change.
Imbuto strives to engage, educate, and empower, and this event is only one of the means to that end.
I already know where this country wants to go. But of course, there's a lot of guidance I'm going to get in a way that it helps me to give me an opportunity to gather information. So the more you get to know what people think, the more you get a better line to take.
This event seems to have come at a time when young people in the workforce are seeking the guidance and dialogue that these events have become known for.
Today I came to hear and to network with other youth because as a young entrepreneur and a young professional we might face sometimes some challenges, and I want to hear from others and share our experiences. And yeah.
I caught up with Clément Ouageneza, CEO of Rwanda Online, and one of the event's panelists to see what advice he could offer.
I would say proactively listen to the ideas that are being shared, proactively find a space or a place for him towards those conversations, and really participate, because it's today, it's a forum, but these are discussions that we continuously have around in other forums, but also on a day-to-day basis.
As many of us know, the end of the year is the best time to reflect, and the beginning of the year is a time to make a change. No doubt, many of the ideas shared here will be considered in the New Year's resolutions of many. I, for one, hope to see more events like this next year. Makeda Mahadio, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
So Makeda, great video there.
Thank you.
What did you get most from your experience at the forum?
You know what, that's a hard question because I actually got a lot. I saw that a lot of people were there to share and to, you know, just kind of, it was opening a dialogue. It wasn't as if there were some people lecturing or anything like that. It was really a dialogue. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay for the entire thing. I really wish that I could have, but I had to go back and, you know, cut and paste all of this together, you know. But it was really inspiring. As you see, the First Lady was there. She gave some really inspiring words as well. And really, you know, like I said at the end of the video, I want to see more events like this coming up because you could see that people had a lot to say, you know, and you have to express that. You have to talk with other people, like-minded people to get that out. And it was inspiring even for me, you know what I mean? There were some panelists like Clément that you saw. There was also Isabelle Kamariza, who does Solid Africa. A lot of different people. And it was really, really inspiring, some of the things that they were saying. And some of the questions that were being asked, there were things that just need to be said. You know, I wish I could have just shown the entire thing. But yeah, it was really interesting, really cool.
From you talking to Clément Wageneza, we heard him say that it is a forum, but the discussion keeps on going on.
Absolutely.
It doesn't stop, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, you know, people, and that's the aim, you know, to continue just keeping the dialogue open, talking to each other. And what he was saying there was making sure to keep your ears open, making sure to take ideas and to, you know, internalize them or to, you know, use what's given. You know what I mean? A lot of times people have, I suppose, a tendency to kind of not take certain opportunities or not take things seriously. So I really like that he said that.
You, quickly before we move on to the next story, you've lived around the world. Have you seen a youth as energetic as the Rwandan youth?
Well, what do you mean by energetic?
How energetic do you find the Rwandan youth?
I find that they're very energetic, but they are very motivated. You know, Rwanda is a unique place. It's not like every other place in the world, right? So there's a lot of opportunity there, and you know, it's very ripe for us to make a change now. Exactly. You know, we have a very young society. It's, you know, the age group is pretty much the age group that was represented at this forum, and so yeah, it is very. It's calling, it's motivating to be here, you know, because that change can be made. And I think that people realize that, and forums like this are helping to push that along. So yeah, I mean, I can't compare it to the rest of the world. Come on, but you know, anyways.
All right, let's move on to the next story here. It's a sad one, unfortunately. The sports community is in shock following the death of rally navigator Christophe Duquesne during the Rallye des Mille Collines over the weekend. The rally in shock after Rwandan driver Claude Kwizera's navigator Christophe Duquesne died over the weekend during the second stage of Section 2 in Gatenye, Eastern Province in the 31st edition of the Rallye des Mille Collines. Duquesne suffered severe injuries to his body after the Subaru Impenza N12 hit a tree stump, forcing the car that was on a high speed to skid sideways. It is believed that Duquesne died on the way to Gahini Hospital after receiving first aid from fellow drivers at the scene of the crash. Claude Kwizera remains in critical condition at King Faisal Hospital. May Duquesne's soul rest in peace.
You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to the money. Fidelis Karangwa has the business details.
Three business stories making headlines today. Gas oil prices fell to a record low of $70 from $115 a barrel and is expected to fall even further in the first half of 2015. Experts say the low prices benefit consumers in form of reduced commodity prices as the African communities import oil and continued drop in prices means less foreign currency will be spent to pay for their petroleum surpluses. The same, however, cannot be said for Kenya and Uganda, who have invested highly in their recently discovered oil and are expected to start production soon. Homeowners and businesses will face huge losses if KCB Rwanda succeeds in auctioning real estate property belonging to DN International. The construction firm, which is now facing liquidation, defaulted a loan acquired in 2010 to construct a housing estate, prompting KCB to auction the property. This has prompted fear among home buyers who have previously owned both their homes and are at risk of losing them now. And mobile phone subscribers in Kenya, Uganda and Rwanda will from January 2015 enjoy cheap cross-border calling rates following the removal of tariff by the three countries. The decision, which was reached at the just concluded 8th Summit for the Northern Infrastructure Project held in Nairobi, and is expected to provide decreased roaming charges while calling around the East African region.
All right, Fidelis. Well, what I need to know here is usually when I'm boarding a plane and we have to do a stop in Nairobi or Kampala, and I can still see MTN or whatever other company we have here, Tigo, Airtel, but it says Uganda this time or it says Kenya this time.
Yeah.
And I'm always scared to call people here because I'm thinking about roaming charges.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen from January?
Don't worry about it. From January, it will be like calling me when you're at your house and I'm in the office or
Really?
something. It's going to be that cheap. Going to be amazing.
What triggered that?
Amazing. You can all travel and just enjoy your calls at any time.
What triggered the movement? Well, I mean, was it people complaining that it was too expensive?
Well, everyone has. I know I have. You know, when I travel and I make the calls and they're ridiculously expensive, you know, you can't call your family, you can't call your friends. Well, during the meeting, you know, the heads of state of, you know, there was Uhuru Kenyatta, there was Excellency Paul Kagame, all at the meeting, and, you know, they talked about it and they finally came to the conclusion that, you know, they should just, you know, bring down this tariff, and now you can make your calls very easily and very cheaply.
Okay, so what do you have for us for the rest of the week? I'm looking forward to it. Uh-oh, looks like you are too.
Well, we all know there's been a lot of construction going on at the airport. Well, I have the, you know, I'm going to show you what it's all been about. So I have the renovation of the airports, what took place, what happened, how much it cost, you know, all those details I've done for you today. And also I have something special.
Uh-oh.
I heard
Is it a
hotels, hotels and more hotels. You know, when you come through the airport, the first thing you're thinking, maybe I should get a nice hotel. Well, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to tell you what runs behind the business of hotels in Rwanda.
That is Fidelis for you, man.
Holiday spirits.
Yeah, baby. Shoot. Okay, you are up to date with today's business headlines. Sports is coming up in just a minute with Arnold Quizetta.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Sports news now with me, Arnold Kwizera. Starting with some sad news, the rally fraternity is mourning the death of navigator Christophe Dusquin after a crash in the Rally de Mille Collines on Saturday. The 31st edition of the Rally de Mille Collines was suspended after Rwandan driver Claude Kwizera's navigator Christophe Dusquin died during the second stage of the Section 2 in Gachenche, Eastern Province. The Belgian was hit in the chest by a log tree after their car, a Subaru N12, skid off on a sharp turn. May his soul rest in peace. Moving on to the English Premier League, Arsenal and Chelsea bounced back to winning ways as the battle for the Champions League places heats up. Arsenal silenced their recent critics in style by brushing aside informed Newcastle United 4-1 at the Emirates Stadium. Goals from Santi Cazorla and Oliver Giroud, both with the brace, were enough for Arsenal Wenger's men. Eden Hazard and Diego Costa grabbed the goals as Chelsea eventually overcame a spirited Hull City performance at Stamford Bridge, in a game that had Hull City midfielder Huddleston see red. Will it be the biggest boxing fight in history? Many doubt that, but what won't be questioned is that Mayweather vs Manny Pacquiao fight will be the richest fight ever. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has named May 2nd as the date for his shotgun wedding with Manny Pacquiao. Speculation that the richest fight in boxing history is close to being made has been rife since the Pac-Man put on an impressive performance to defeat Chris Allegri in Macau 2 weeks ago. But the news will be a disappointment to Amir Khan, who has been calling out Mayweather after his win against Devon Alexander. Despite not knocking out his opponent, Khan dominated the fight from the first round, landing quick combinations that seemed to catch the American by surprise. After cycling, basketball could be the next success story for sports in Rwanda, with kids developing a tremendous love for the game and local professionals teaching them fundamentals. This is a sport with an upside like none in the country. A basketball clinic for kids on vacation is taking place in Kigali these days, and Regis went to check it out.
Michael shakes the finger. He finally got it.
It's called the beautiful game. From his airness to the black mamba to the king, basketball has made many kids all over the world believe they could fly. It's not just the sport in itself. It's the elegance, the attire, the kicks, the swag. Basketball is not just another sport, it's a way of life.
13 points for the king here in the opening quarter, 6 of 8 from the floor.
Here in Rwanda, some of our most known basketball players have put together a holiday clinic for kids at Cercle Sportif, and they're loving it.
C'est une passion pour nous. Donc on veut partager notre passion avec les enfants. En plus, ils sont en vacances, on profite, les entraîner et chercher qui sont les meilleurs pour garder une équipe. C'est pas seulement pour l'entraîner puis c'est fini. Donc on cherche l'évolution du basketball du Rwandais. Et là, on est tenté de proposer de faire une deuxième équipe, à part les premières équipes de basketball sportif. Le basket, c'est une passion pour nous. Quand on aime le sport, on regarde d'abord le sport qu'on aime. L'argent, ça vient après.
From 5-year-olds to teenagers, they've all seen flashes of pure beauty on TV, and they do their best to recreate what their idols do in real life.
And a beautiful pass to Carter.
But how did their love for the sport come about?
Natangiye gukina basket kutoka 13. Nianza niko mtoto sana. Hata hivi naipenda ndio maana naamkia asubuhi niko naentraîner watoto.
This is a way to keep kids active during their vacations, but also have them learn about team spirit and life fundamentals, killing many birds with one ball.
J'aime bien partager avec eux. Tu vois, j'aime bien partager avec eux. J'aime ce que moi je fais et aussi plus tard, plus faire ce que moi j'aime faire aussi.
Has Rwanda been kind to the sport? And what are our basketball institutions doing to keep the tradition alive?
Federation mbele walikuwa naifanya, lakini hivi mwaka hapakuwa programu ya vacances ya watoto. Mais kama cercle sportif, watoto unaona wanaanza kama 12 ans, hivi kwa mama wanakuwa na 16 ans. Donc unaona kama serikali yayo inasaidia watoto hapa Murugunga na Banyamirambo kwa watoto wa Kimirongo wote wanakutana hapa. C'est plus de 60 enfants venir serikali inacadrer pendant les vacances.
And on the popularity meter, two-time NBA champion LeBron James remains the main man in their eyes.
Kevin Durant.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Let's hope this keeps going, and maybe, just maybe, we can one day have a kid that started at Cercle Sportif, rocking crowds in the NBA, just like the greatest of all time once did. Regis Isheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Welcome back. It was interesting, Regis. A fun way of, keeping up with sports. Now, basketball of late has been affected, just like football, with the naturalized players issue. And then this report comes up that that's not even organized by the federation. Where are we going wrong?
Well, basically, we haven't developed talented Rwandan players, our own players. And that's why we have to go, seek for players from elsewhere. Either players who are coming from neighboring countries or Rwandans living abroad. Now, Rwandans living abroad shouldn't be a problem, but they're demanding money. They're asking for money that we maybe do not have at the moment. So what I'm thinking here, what I got to experience when I went to Cercle Sportif and shot the video, was that basically these kids cannot wait to actually be 20, 25, and be recruited by these top teams here. We have Espoir, we have KBC, we have these teams that are actually doing pretty good APR, and they want to be recruited, and they want to do big. But they don't want to just do big here. There's one of the kids that was in the video. He's 16, and he's 6'9", at 16 years old. So
is he the guy who was dunking?
He's the one. He's the one. And he dunks at will. So basically, he's 16. All he's missing is fundamentals. That's the dunk right there. All he's missing is the fundamentals, and they're going to be teaching him these fundamentals there. You have players like Mike Busangu, who have been great for our country here, and they're teaching them how to play as a team, like to have a team spirit, how to basically just the basics of the game, to do good passes, to actually to know how to do blocks when you have to block, to know how to use your body to trap other. Basically, they're doing great. They're doing great. They're learning these fundamentals.
Yeah, we've had a terrible year in basketball terms when it comes to Rwanda standards. Rwanda is a champion nation when it comes to basketball in Eastern Central Africa. Poor performances in the Zone 5, both club and national championships. We are not going to have some of our players around. The Gasanas have been affected by the naturalized player situation. Why is there a big detachment between, like the coaches who you talked to there, because one coach brought it out and said, this is not federation work.
Right.
Why isn't the federation involved in such work?
Like you did in many of your reports, a lot of people keep saying the federation used to. They always talk in past tense, and I don't understand why. Why did they stop contributing to the development of sport?
Did they get comfortable?
I don't know what happened. As you said, Rwanda was great when it came to East and Central Africa. That has stopped. So now you have players who are still playing right now. They're professionals here in Rwanda, and who have decided to take matters in their own hands and help these kids become great. And they're doing it. There was a kid there that was 5 years old.
Yeah, I know. I noticed a lot of 5 and 6. And it's a great way, again, for the parents,
right.
When they're not going to be scared about the drugs, because drug abuse has been on a rise according to police reports.
Drug abuse, alcohol, and then being 5 years old, or 10 years old, or 15 years old, stuck at home on vacation, watching television all day long is not the solution either, even if you're not doing drugs. So when you go out there and you learn about team spirit, you learn about fundamentals of the game.
How to be a winner yourself.
Exactly. Sacrifice. Basketball is such a great game. It teaches you so many ways of interacting with people, how to basically live with others, live in a society, and it really works. A lot of the life rules are in basketball. You find them in basketball.
I think in all sport. Now, moving on to something very interesting.
Let's do it quickly because we have to wrap up.
I love asking the questions this time.
All right.
Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. What's your take on this one?
I truly believe it was about time. Everybody's been waiting on this for what, 6, 7
years? Are they going
to
have the fight? Bob Arum, is still the issue of
I have a hard time believing the fight will actually happen. Even if Floyd Mayweather came out and said he's ready. I really truly believe that Manny Pacquiao will have the upper hand, but I don't think it's going to happen because it's going to take too much on both sides to actually come together, agree on a fee, and sit down at the table.
The fee issue was resolved, I think, and if they get the pay-per-view in China, as Bob Arum is pushing for it, it's going to be a $1 billion fight.
It's all about money. We do not know about the money side. Let's wait for the money. Thank you so much, Arnold. That was great. Makeda and I will be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The First Lady is urging children to prioritize good morals, values, and respect the parents and teachers as they strive to perform well in school. Mrs. Jeannette Kagame co-hosted a Christmas party this weekend with members of the Unity Club for about 100 children from various parts of the country at Village Urugwiro. The children were treated to a luncheon and multiple games and received both gifts and advice from the First Lady about staying in school and choosing good friends to hang out with. Through her Imbuto Foundation, Mrs. Kagame also hosted an event this weekend dubbed Young Professionals, which aimed at helping young men and women of the country to make better decisions and share ideas.
Major General Jean Bosco Kazura was earlier this week bestowed upon the National Order of Mali by the Malian government in recognition of his role in pacifying the country. General Kazura received the medal from Malian Defense Minister in a ceremony attended by MINUSMA officials. Kazura thanked the people of Mali and the country's leaders, particularly President Ibrahim Boubacar, for their hospitality. General Kazura completes his tour of duty 18 months after he was appointed to head of UN peacekeeping mission in the West African nation.
About 200 women in Mayange sector of Bugesera district have been economically empowered through weaving and selling of baskets. The women started a basket weaving cooperative where they sell their products, a development that has turned around their financial fortunes. Some members of the cooperative commended the trainings they got from Mayange Millennium Development Project that has emancipated the women and given them financial empowerment.
The President of Sudan has claimed victory over the International Criminal Court after it ended its probe into allegations of crimes in Darfur. The ICC charged His Excellency Omar al-Bashir in 2009 for crimes in the region dating back to 2003, about which he refused to recognize the authority of the court in The Hague. Darfur has been driven by conflict since rebels took up arms in 2003, as more than 300,000 lives have been lost, mostly from disease. President al-Bashir said the court had failed in its attempts to humiliate Sudan.
Tens of thousands of people marched in New York City this weekend to protest the killings of unarmed black people by police officers in the United States. As part of Millions March, the protest came in response to two separate grand jury decisions not to indict police officers for the chokehold death of Eric Garner in New York City and the fatal shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. The decisions have unleashed demonstrations and questions about police conduct and whether local prosecutors are the best choice for investigation police. It's time now for review of the headlines. Michael Kish from Contact FM joins us now to look through some of the front pages.
Michael Kiche.
Yes, it's
I actually had to learn that one.
I was trying to add some swag to it. It has a lot of swag already.
Why not? Why not?
Okay.
Okay, let's get into the first headline. So, gas prices have dropped to an all-time low of $70.
Yes, of $70 a barrel. From $115 a barrel.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's quite a drastic drop there, you know, and even looking at the patterns here in Rwanda, it's very interesting. In March, we had the prices drop from 1,030 to 1,010. Then again, in April, it shot up to 1,050. Again, now it has dropped to 960, and the probable reason or explanation for this is the fact that there's actually slowing demand for oil products because people are now moving into more efficient energy forms, you know. Right. People are looking at solar, people are looking at many other available sources of energy. So that is what has occasioned this particular drop. And it's also worth noting that the likes of Saudi Arabia are not affected by this. Remember, we see when prices are dropping, it means the profits are also dipping low. But Saudi Arabia is not affected by this. Why? It's because they are able to do the production at a cheaper rate, as opposed to the likes of Russia, whose production costs are high. So when I come back home here in East Africa, remember Kenya and Uganda have already prospected, and they're likely to, they're going to start the production process in 2017. And Rwanda is going to be a beneficiary. Why? Because if this trend continues with the prices being low, then what that means is that by the time Kenya and Uganda are starting their production in 2017, they'll not pretty much enjoy the benefits that come from high rates of oil in the oil industry. So Rwanda, yes, is going to be advantaged being part of the East African community, and when you're having this coming from Kenya, you're having this coming from Uganda, then certainly Rwanda is going to see also a drop in their prices.
Now, something in which Rwanda has been a pioneer in East Africa and in Africa in general is these programs like Umushikirano, where we actually hold these meetings where people can actually talk to people they wouldn't usually talk to on a regular basis. Correct. What's going to be different between Umushikirano 2014 and all the Umushikiranos we've had in the past?
Well, I didn't want to pretty much maybe have comparisons between the previous Umushikirano and what Rwanda is going to have in 2014. But rather, my attention was drawn to the kind of topics that will be discussed. key here is about the family, you know, the relationship, about how the family is also at the center of growth and development of the Rwandan society. And what again now attracts me even much more when it comes to family issues is parenting, the present day parenting. Things have really changed. The society has really changed. The kind of jobs that we do are so demanding. We tend to spend most of our time away from kids, away from home, and we pretty much don't kind of understand what's happening to their lives. Now, parenting, that's the basis. It's the basis of the family. That's why it all starts from. That's how you were nurtured, how you also brought up. There was somebody responsible for that. And in this day and age, when we see incidences like what we saw in Uganda, the nanny, then it gets, you know, it gets us thinking again about our parenting ideas and skills and all that kind of thing amidst an ever-changing society that is continually becoming demanding.
Right. Now let's move on to the last headline before we have to wrap up. Yes. The ICC has suspended crime investigations on al-Bashir, and this comes after they have
suspended investigation against
Kenyatta.
President
Kenyatta.
Yes.
So tell me, what are the implications of this?
It's quite an interesting twist, because what I will start questioning first is now the reconciliation process in Kenya. That's one of the first things that I tend to look at in that matter. But just maybe to also enlighten our viewers, again, remember, ICC has suspended their investigations in Darfur, right?
Right.
And
blaming it on the UN.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's what Bensouda is blaming. She's blaming the UN for being lax, for not taking action. Therefore, she could actually do little about that. And when she appeared even before the United Nations Security Council briefing, she actually told them it doesn't make sense to continually come here and just give you briefs over the same things. I keep repeating myself, yet we're not taking any steps in Darfur. And now this is the interesting, two things here, okay? Two things. One, Bensouda as a person and for her career and her portfolio, then she goes down in history as that ICC prosecutor who was not able to take up the cases and see them through to the end so that these people would be prosecuted. Now, but at the same time, for me, I beg to pose the question that, you see, somebody like Yoweri Museveni was even asking African leaders, Africans, to come out of the ICC. Now, the question for me here is, are we as Africans, have we already put in place strong judicial systems and processes that are credible, that are able to sort out such like issues? Because what will end up being happening here is that we'll move in a trend of, we'll also become complacent and in a way become accomplice with the government, such that they do anything and we just shut up about it. Let them off the hook. Exactly. When we just let them off the hook. If anything, ACC cannot get them, so what? I mean, who cares who's going to deal with it now? And back home, if we have our own judicial processes, the courts and all the kind of system, then is it a credible one that the citizens of these particular nations are able to believe in that particular system, trust it, and indeed they know that justice will be served? Because it's often said that justice delayed is justice denied.
Michael, enlightening us. That was pretty good.
Okay, interesting insights there. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today. Okay, lots more still to come. We have our daily debate section, hot topics and lifestyle. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Alan Karachiri, what do you have for us?
I love it every time.
Every time.
Right?
It's your favorite part, isn't it?
It is, and the money.
And the money.
All right, well, it's Motivation Mondays, and we're going to be working out, so look out for it.
All right.
It's Motivation Mondays, and this week's session, we tackle the importance of saturated fat in our diet, from whole milk to cheese and bacon. Yes, I said bacon. There's such a thing as good fat. Plus, our very own Fidelis Karanga gets some tips on how to work out the upper and lower back. Let's check it out. Welcome back. It's Motivation Mondays, and I'm with co-founder Janetta Craigwell Graham. I got it right?
Yes, you did.
All right. So today we're talking about fat in your diet, whether it's beneficial, whether it's not good for you. She's going to tell us all about it. All right. So tell us about the myth of fat in your diet. Is it a bad thing to have fat in your diet?
Sure, Alan. I think that over the past, 10 or 20 years, there's been a lot of bad press about fat. In fact, a lot of evidence is coming out nowadays that show us that saturated fats, or at least some amount of fats in your diet, is actually really good for you. And the recent trends of low-fat diets, where you have a lot of low-fat foods like low-fat milk and cheese, it's actually not a good idea. Those type of foods tend to have a lot of sugars and salts to replace the good taste that fat adds to your diet. So nowadays we're recommending actually that people adopt something like a higher fat diet with a lower carbohydrate intake.
Okay. Now give us examples of these good high fat diets.
So they're all the things that you love. So it's the bacon, it's the cheese, dairy, all sorts of eggs and meats, all have really good fat in them that are perfectly fine for you to eat, especially if it's unprocessed and unrefined. That means fresh from the farm or fresh from the produce aisle.
So what is the tip of the day? What are you going to give us as a tip as far as people having fat in their diet? What is the tip of the day?
Sure. I think one of the easiest things that people can start doing is replacing a lot of the peanut oils and vegetable oils that they're using when they're cooking with olive oil or coconut oil, which are all available in Kigali and readily usable in their everyday cooking. And it's a great substitute, and it's a great start on the way to reducing those bad fats that we tend to eat with really good fats. Hi, Fidelis. I heard you're joining me today for a little workout. I hope you're excited. Okay. So we're going to be focusing on the upper back. The back in its entirety is a very important muscle to focus on. It helps build your core strength and your stability, your balance. It's a very important muscle. We spend so much time these days hunched over in front of the computer, and it affects our back, and we really need to work on it, and along with the other parts of your body. So we're going to do 2 different exercises today. I'd like for you to do, ideally when you're at home or in the gym, if you have some dumbbells, 5 sets and 5 repetitions of each of the exercises. The first exercise we're going to do is called a surrender. So we're just going to grab the weights, make sure you have the right weight for you. The first one, as I mentioned, is surrender. So I think I showed you this, arms straight ahead, your palms are facing inward. You just want to go down with one knee, the other knee, and up again. Keeping your arms up continuously. You do 5 of these, and eventually you're really going to start to feel it. So keep going. Keep smiling. If possible when you're doing it, that shows everyone that you're having fun. Okay? Last one. Come on. One more. And I'm done. So we're just going to pick up our weights. We're going to do a lateral shoulder raise. We're going to be focusing on the upper shoulder here. So you're just going to go straight out, up the shoulder lift, and back down. There you go. One more. And what you really want to do here is to make sure that your shoulders go all the way up here. We want it just to go right to shoulder height and back down. There we go. I already even seen the definition there. There we go. And let's just do one more. There we go. All right. Well, thanks so much, Fidelis. You did a great job. Hope you had some fun with the weights.
All right, and we're back with our very own Fidelis Karanga. Fidelis, oh my God, what a struggle that was for you, wasn't it?
It really was. It really was. It was like, you know, it's good though. It's good though because it gave me like a wake-up call. Like, I need to work out.
Honestly, I think people who watch the show think that we're the laziest people because
you know?
I did it and I was dying, and then you do it. You're. I think the only person that's fit is Eve.
It's Eve, clearly. Eve is making us look bad, but generally, but that stuff is really hard. But you, as soon as like 5 seconds after you've done it, you already feel the burn. You already feel
you were telling
working.
Me you were sore.
It's crazy because I thought you know maybe it would take a day or two, but as soon as I was done, I could feel my thighs just like hurt so badly. But at least I knew it was working. I knew, you know.
Right. Now, what about the back? Did you feel any pain in the back?
Definitely. I mean, especially around your shoulder area and all that. It's really good because apart from the pain parts, the benefits in the end is actually really good.
Now let's talk about the nutrition part. Obviously, she talked about the goodness of fat in your diet. Are you the kind of person who practices you know, the whole low-fat diet type of thing? What do you do?
Which is actually, this was very enlightening for me because before she said that the whole low-fat, you know, normally has lots of sugar, so that it tastes better. For me, I would never go shopping, always opt for the low-fat option, which apparently is not always the best. So that was very educated for me.
Absolutely, and also she talks about, you know, how you have to cut out the carbs and substitute it with higher fat, and also using olive oil instead of using the regular oil.
And that's actually, I've always known that, but I don't know how relevant that is in Rwanda, because you can only find olive oil, especially in supermarkets, and even then it's kind of expensive. So maybe people should just find like another option that's maybe less expensive. But definitely olive oil is the way to go.
Definitely. One other option she suggested was coconut oil, which I don't think is as expensive as olive oil. Right. But I hope, are you going to come next week and do the workout again?
No. After watching myself do that and look ridiculous, I need to go every day.
You need to come back and prove.
So, you know, so that one day I'll have like my reveal segments where, you know, I'll show them, you know, I can now do this very easily. I got this.
I think I might join you next time. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Hot Topics is coming right up. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, you can join in on the debates through our social media, whether it's on Facebook or on Twitter. Let's get into our first hot topic. Now, this one is about Kizito Mihigo, who was a gospel singer who got arrested this year because of conspiracy to overthrow the government with such people as RNC. In fact, he was caught having a conversation on WhatsApp and Skype where he talked about, they talked about assassinating not only the president, but other politicians, as well as attacking the country. Like one of the things they talked about, I believe, was
the grenade attacks.
Right, grenade attacks, but as well as bringing down the Kigali City Tower. But what I want to talk about is basically, even though he's admitted about the alleged conversations, the one thing he claims is that he was just curious to learn about RNC's plans and that he had no criminal intent. Now, I don't know how you guys view that. What do you guys think about that?
Just why get into something that you know might get you into trouble anyway? Just don't do it. It's so simple. I think for me, it's just pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think if that's the case, then you don't play detective yourself. You know, if you have an idea that there's some kind of conspiracy happening, you know, you tell the proper authorities. You don't say, okay, let me just try and do this on my own.
Especially if you know these people are the enemies of a country. I mean, why would you be even having conversations with them,
Just a quick question.
Right?
What kind of research was he trying to do? I mean, we all know what they're about. We didn't have to talk to them personally.
On Skype and WhatsApp, right?
So, I don't know.
And these are people who are responsible for so many people's deaths. You know, the grenade attacks that were all over Kigali a few years back. You know, the RNC, you know, we know they are eating from the same table as FDLR at the moment. So why get involved with such people?
I think we know all we need to know.
I think it was
what they are, basically.
One other thing I just want to...
Something doesn't sound right. So.
Right. One other thing I want to bring up is that, you know, some of the people are saying that part of why he admitted to him basically having these conversations is so that they would reduce his sentence, which is
So he wasn't talking about it before?
So as in was he wholeheartedly, I guess, what's the word?
Apologetic?
Apologetic for what he had done and said, or whether he was just doing it so that they reduce his sentence.
At this point, it's just a lawyer's game, and he'll do whatever he can to reduce.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see
sentence,
because the trial finishes next year, so we'll have to wait and see. But let's go on to another story, but this one is unfortunately a sad one. Over the weekend, the Rally des Mille Collines had a tragic accident whereby Rwandan driver Claude Kwizera's navigator Christophe Duquesne died shortly after their car hit a tree stump. Now, unfortunately, this also has caused the rally to be suspended. I think it's just a sad story. I don't know what you guys thought when you heard about the news.
Unfortunately, it shouldn't be surprising. It's really sad, but it shouldn't be surprising. I mean, Arnold on your left will tell you him and I are huge F1 fans, and we saw Ayrton Senna.
That's the car, as you can see.
Exactly. We saw Ayrton Senna. It's one of the risks of the sport, unfortunately. It does happen. And it doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it's not really a shock.
It was kind of a shocker for me.
To you?
Yeah, I follow rally a lot down in Rwanda. And Claude Kwizera himself, as a driver, is a very defensive driver. In fact, one of the questions being asked was, will he get the mental strength to be able to attack a rally? Because he has the talent. It's always, he can take on the best within the region. And we had some of the best come down for the Rally des Mille Collines over the weekend. But he lacked someone to drive him. Now, it was his first time working with this navigator, being that the navigator usually works with another Rwandan driver, Mujerigezi, if I get the name right and the pronunciation.
Right.
And I think they were taking too much of a risk, being it was Ramagana, and this is a very flat terrace. So you didn't expect the humps like what you get in the Mountain Gorilla Rally, where hardly no one makes it to the final round. So it was a very unfortunate incident, and it was a shocker to the rallying community.
It's sad. It's a high-risk sport. It's not golf. I mean, you expect certain things to happen. It's sad. It's
now, I believe I heard some sources that he wasn't wearing his seatbelt, but I don't think that could be the case. We've yet to hear any statement about that, but I don't think you could even be in a car like that.
I did hear it too.
But anyway, on to the next hot topic. Miss Fashion Beauty Universal. This is a beauty pageant that took place in Portugal. And our very own Miss Aurore Mutesi, who was Miss Rwanda 2013, I believe, participated. And over the weekend, the crown, unfortunately, didn't go to Rwanda. It was Miss Portugal. But she came up as third runner-up and was voted by Rwandans. A lot of Rwandans went online and voted for her. So I just wanted to give her a little...
Shout out.
Shout out.
Question, who was the second runner-up?
The second runner-up was Spain.
Do you want the image to come back up?
Yeah, really?
So
the second runner-up. Oh, I also must mention she was Miss Fashion Beauty Africa. So there was all the continents. She won for Africa.
She's a very pretty girl.
Yeah, I feel like it's just another good example of a woman, lady who's done a great job in the past being Miss Rwanda. She's represented the country so well, and she's not given up. She's persisted, and now she's taking it to another level, going for even bigger competitions and still doing very well. And I feel like generally just the Rwandan community loves her, they love supporting her, and we always have her back. She should just go to her thing.
Coming from the word of Miss Photogenic.
You just had to. You just had to.
We couldn't let that one go. Come on, you're never going to live that down. All right, guys, don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports that we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your pics. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all that we have time for today. We'd love to hear your feedback, and do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. We will be here same time, same place tomorrow. Please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a very good day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.